Hi everyone, it's Olivia and I'm here to talk to you guys about Australia. This video is years overdue, but I'm excited to share with you all of my knowledge on the land down under. In 2015, I traveled there on a working holiday visa. I lived and worked and traveled for the entire year that I was there, and I made my way pretty much all around the country. This video will be part one of two. And we're going to cover all of the technical stuff like visas, passports, getting there, and getting started once you arrive. So I'm going to try to go through all of this information as quickly as possible so we can get on to all of the fun, beautiful things about Australia in the next video. So the first thing you're going to want to do, numero uno, is get your passport. Now if you already have your passport, skip ahead a couple minutes and go on to step two, which is your visa. But first, step one is get your passport. Now this only applies to US citizens. I don't know how to get any other passport. The easiest way to get your passport is to fill out a DS-11 application at your local USPS store, where you can also get your passport photo taken and pay your $120 fee. After you fill out this application and pay your fee and get your photo taken, it'll take 3 to 6 weeks for your passport to get to you. I know that mine took on the shorter side to get to me, so that was pretty nice. You can do this process all online. It's a little bit harder to do because you have to take your photo yourself and find the application yourself and then deliver it to whatever location you need to deliver it to. So I would suggest just going into your USPS store that says they take passport photos and doing it all there in one go, one day, and then you have your passport on its way. Step number two is going to be your visa. So if you're an American citizen, you are going to apply for a working holiday visa, subclass 462. Now, this visa allows you to live and work like a citizen of Australia in Australia for 1 year. You can go online, and I'll leave a link in the description, to fill out your application. So you're going to have to create an account on the website. And then you fill out your application for the working holiday visa. You submit a background check as well as your social security number and your passport number. Now when you get granted this visa, it is electronically linked to your passport number. So you're not really going to get a piece of paper or anything like that that says you're allowed to be in Australia. It's just linked to your passport number, and your employer or the authorities can look up that number and your visa will be attached to it whenever you enter the country. The fee for the working holiday visa is around $400, or it was when I paid for it, and they pretty much grant it like within the week. Mine was within 48 hours, and they just send you an email saying that you can enter Australia now. Tres, you're gonna want to book your flight like as soon as you get your visa, probably. Honestly, Google Flights is probably the best thing to use, the best search engine to use. I didn't use that when I booked my flight, and I ended up paying like kind of a lot more than I should have for it. Google Flights just compares all of the airlines and things like that, so you can get your best price. I would suggest flying into either Sydney or Melbourne. Those are the two biggest cities in Australia. Number 4 is going to be your accommodation. And when you get to Australia, there's pretty much any form of accommodation that you want in Australia. The main one for backpackers would be hostels. I stayed in hostels the entire time I was there and loved it. It's pretty much like college dorm life, but without the classes. You meet a whole bunch of people, like you have shared bathrooms and shared kitchens and shared dorms. There are some hostels that offer private rooms if you're a little bit more reserved. It can be overwhelming at times, but you also are going to meet some of your favorite people there and find your best friends and your travel partners. So I definitely suggest using hostels as your main form of accommodation. You can also find apartments for rent and house shares and things like that. All over Australia is really catered to backpackers, so there's a lot of resources to use. Gumtree is their equivalent to, say, like Craigslist. So you can find things on that website using just gumtree.com.au. And you can use that website to find things for sale, find jobs, find roommates and house shares, and pretty much anything that you're looking for. I would use Gumtree because it's a great resource. Okay, so your phone SIM card. If you have a smartphone, just make sure before you leave for Australia that it is unlocked for international use. And then once you get to Australia, they have phone carriers exactly like T-Mobile and Verizon, but the Australian version. Just go into one of those stores and buy a SIM card that you can recharge every month and decide how many gigs of data or how many minutes or text messages you want each month. Plus, then if you're traveling somewhere where that doesn't really have service, then you can just let your data run out and you don't have a monthly bill to pay. Phone service is pretty good in all of the major cities around Australia. There are some spots that don't really get service, but that's more on the west coast and in the center. So what I used for money most of the time was a debit card that I got from the Commonwealth Bank of Australia. So you can just go into your nearest Commonwealth Bank and ask to sign up for a checking account. It's super simple, just like you would sign up for a checking account here. They open you an account and you can deposit and withdraw money and use that to pay for all of your Australian stuff. Once you get a job and if you would like to file taxes at the end of the year and claim your taxes back, you should apply for a TFN or tax file number. You can do this at the link that I post in the description. And if you apply for that, then at the end of the year you can use that in order to claim your taxes back. If you're not worried about it, then don't sign up for it, but I suggest it because my tax return was about $1,000, so you definitely should claim that back for when you leave. I think that is all for the nitty-gritty stuff, and I'm excited to share with you some of my favorite places in Australia in the next video.